Earlier on, I showed you the JB Hi-Fi mobile app, and I showed you how if you tried to actually log in, doesn't matter if the credentials are right or not, if you tried to get the app to talk to the API backend over HTTPS and the certificate was invalid, for example, when Fiddler served up its own route and the device didn't trust it, then the app responded and said, hey, we can't trust the SSL connection. In fact, it specifically said SSL connection. So clearly, JB Hi-Fi are validating the certificate validity on those connections. We've just compromised the device. We've installed Fiddler's root certificate on my iPhone. Let's now see what happens when we try and log in again. So what you see here is exactly what I'm seeing in the app. That's on the iPhone I'm holding in my hand. I'm going to log in. There goes the tunnel. Now there's actually a request, and if we inspect that request, we should be able to see exactly how it's constructed. Let's have a look at the raw request. This has actually got a JSON body. Here's the password, foo. The app has responded and said, hey, the credentials are incorrect. Not the certificate is incorrect, but the credentials. This app is now very happily proxying the data through Fiddler, and we're intercepting it, and we can do all the same sorts of things we did earlier with HTTP connections in terms of modifying requests, modifying responses, simply because the device trusts Fiddler's root certificate, and when the app checks for certificate validation, everything checks out and it's entirely happy to make the connection. This is exactly how we want to see an app behave. Not the way we saw Aussie Farmers Direct behave just before, and again, in their defense, they have fixed that in a subsequent release of the app, but we want to see that app validating the connection. So it's always a good test. Use a device that doesn't have Fiddler's root certificate on it, proxy it through Fiddler, and see what happens. If you can see the traffic, then the device is not doing certificate validation and its SSL is useless. Of course, now, even though we've compromised the device and can see the traffic, it doesn't mean that there aren't other risks. And again, it goes back to all the sorts of other things we've looked at in this course. We've now just simply taken the fact that it's HTTPS encrypted traffic out of the picture. We can put that aside and focus on things like parameter tampering or modifying responses. Now there's one other example I want to go and take a look of that's another real-world app that shows yet another problem with the way we implement SSL in mobile apps. Let's go and take a look at that one now.